Okay, so we're picking up where we left off on the last video, and we'll look at the paper 1 assignment so that you can have an explanation of that. In this folder that I just clicked on that says paper assignment instructions, you have both paper 1 and paper 2, so you can look ahead and see what you need to do for paper 2 as well if you're curious. But we're going to focus on looking at paper 1 here. All right, so right at the top, right, it tells you that the article for this paper is due on October 2nd to me for my approval, and the full paper is due on October 16th. So those dates are right there at the top, and you're going to earn 130 points, hopefully doing this. The purpose of this paper is to teach you the difference between academic, peer-reviewed sources of information and other sources of information. So it's the beginning of my effort to get you to be critical consumers of information, which I have to say is my #1 goal. Before, even it's probably a more important goal to me than you learning anything about psychology, though you will learn lots about psychology. But I really do want you to be a critical consumer of information. I want you to come across information in the world and ask yourself, is this trustworthy? How are they getting the information that they're giving to me? How accurate do I think it is? Are there other sources of information that contradict this? Which one of these is more plausible, right? I want you to be thinking about that all of the time. And so this first paper asks you to do that. Now, some of you may have been given a similar assignment sometime in the past in your education. It may be that for some of you, this may feel simplistic. If that's the case, it'll be easy for you to do and easy for you to earn your 130 points. But others of you may not have been asked to do this or not have been asked to do this in a long time. And in that case, it is a really important place to bring us all of you to the same kind of place, level playing field, before we bring you into paper 2, which asks a little bit more of you in terms of your peer-reviewed sources. So some of you may already be thinking, I don't know what a peer-reviewed source is. What is she talking about? This is part of what you're going to learn with this assignment. And the first page of this assignment is really giving you background information that you need. I know that there is a real inclination for not just students, for everybody, to kind of get to what do I have to do. But you really need to read this first page and follow the links that I've given you so that you know what to do. If you're emailing me a month from now asking me, I don't understand how to find a peer-reviewed article, the thing I'm going to say is, did you look at the link I provided in the assignment? Because it teaches you how to do that. Obviously, if you've done that and you still have questions, ask them. But you need to read all of this, right? And so the idea that not all websites are created equal is probably one you're familiar with. This link here brings you to a library page that helps you decide, how do I know if I can trust a website? Excuse me. How do I know if I can trust a website? And when I'm asking you to evaluate websites for the quality of their information, the accuracy of their information, I'm going to expect that you're going to use the information from this link. So make sure you follow that link and take a look at it. And then these paragraphs here talk a lot about what peer-reviewed articles are, right? They're intended for a professional audience. Other professionals in the field have reviewed them and deemed that they are, in fact, accurately done and have quality and important information. So these 2 paragraphs talk about the difference between peer-reviewed articles and other sources of printed information. And then this link here shows you is a link to our library website, and it is about finding articles specific to psychology. So again, you need to follow the link and get some instruction on how to do that. If you've done all of that and you're still not sure how to find an article, or you're trying to find an article, you're having a problem, you have a couple of options. Of course, you can always reach out to me and ask me for help and ask me for input, ask me to meet on office hours. I'm happy to do that. But our librarians are awesome people whose job and passion really is to help students with this kind of thing. You can stop into the library and find a reference librarian. You can go online and make either a virtual or an in-person appointment to find a librarian to help you. You can chat with a librarian. So if we go, let me do this real quick, right? If I do nvd.edu/library, right? We have all kinds of, information for, that's not what we want. That's not the library, right? And so you have right here, make an appointment. And you can choose either a specific librarian. I can tell you that Jenna Stebbins is particularly informed about psychology, but you could do no preference, and then you can pick a day when you'd like to meet with a librarian and pick a time, and continue. So these will be remote appointments, but you can also pop into the library and have an in-person meeting with a librarian. And I think, I can be helpful, but I have to tell you, the librarians will be more helpful than I can be, because this is what they know best. But I guess the upshot is, regardless of whether it's me or a librarian, reach out for help if you're having problems. So, once you've gone through all of that, we can look at the current assignment. You're going to choose a topic within psychology. Now, psychology, as you're quickly going to learn, is the scientific study of human behavior and mental process. So any topic related to human behavior and mental process is a psychology topic, or is related to psychology in some way. Pick something that's interesting to you. So you could pick something, if you have a family member that has a psychological disorder, lots of students will choose, that's something I want to learn more about, I want to pick that topic. Or if you have a psychological disorder, you pick that topic. But think beyond that, right? Think about the fact that, okay, so I'm a nursing major. I wonder what research is out there about how to prevent burnout in the nursing profession. There are articles out there, and that is a psychology topic. People, you might be really into music. There are articles on how music affects people's behavior, or articles on what personality types tend to be drawn to different genres of music. There's lots of articles on the psychological well-being or psychological factors of other kinds in student athletes. So think about what's interesting to you. Think about what you're passionate about. And then feel free to reach out to me to say, I'm thinking about this topic. What do you think? Obviously, when you submit your article to me, that'll also be a moment when I can say, I'm not sure about this topic, but if you want to ask me ahead of time, that would be a great idea. Right, so you're going to choose a topic, and then you need to find the resources. You need to find that peer-reviewed article that we just talked about briefly, and you need to find 2 websites. One website that appears to you to be good for academic purposes, again, using the guidelines on that link I provided, and one website that does not appear to be good for academic use, that the information isn't accurate or trustworthy. And then you have 2 sets of questions to answer. You have a set of questions about the peer-reviewed article. What type of research did the authors carry out? What data collection methods did they use? You'll be familiar with that by the time you're writing the paper. And then you need to explain to me why, first, peer-reviewed sources in general are trusted for academic work, and what makes the specific article you chose good for academic information. And you can feel very free to answer, right? So you're not writing about your topic, you'll notice. You're writing about an evaluation of your article and its qualifications to be used for an academic paper. And that is the purpose of this paper assignment. And this isn't a writing assignment as much as it's a critical thinking assignment. So I'm not so concerned about how you structure paragraphs and so on. You should feel free to have a section that says peer-reviewed article, and then where you, even in bullets back to me, say, the first bullet might say, the type of research carried out by these authors is, right? And so you can use bullets just as I've used bullets here. For your second 2 sources, for those 2 websites, you have a different set of questions, and those are the ones that come here. Is there evidence the author is relying on objective evidence? Objective meaning factual. We will talk about that more in the upcoming material. Is there evidence the author is relying on representative samples? Who is their intended audience? And overall, how do you think that source compares to your peer-reviewed article in terms of validity and trustworthiness? And you need to explain what you're thinking there. So you'll wind up with 3 separate sections of the paper. They don't need to be on separate pages, right? So you can have a half page for the peer-reviewed article followed immediately by, website appropriate for academic use. You will need to give me the URL and the title of the website when you're doing that, so I can find it if I want to. And then you're going to address each of those questions. You are going to use a little bit of APA style here. You're not going to need to have everything in APA style, but you will need an APA style reference list. And if we scroll quickly past, I have some guidance here for how to create a peer-reviewed reference list. So that's there for you to play with. You'll notice that the references is only 10 out of the 130 points. And so, you know, as long as you're making a good faith effort, you'll be fine there. I know you're learning, many of you, to use APA style. All right, so you're also going to need to make sure that when you hand me in your paper, you give me the peer-reviewed article again, because I'm going to need to be able to look at it, to look at the accuracy of your answers to things. So you can see what the point distribution is like, and I think that should do it. So if you have questions, the practical questions forum is a good place to post those. If you have questions you don't want to post there because they feel personal in some way, then you can email me. Okay? All right, so hopefully these 3 videos have kind of given you a good framework to get started with, and I can't wait to meet you on Monday.